Hey guys, it's SoFlo Josh and I'm over here with my 2023 Honda HR-V Sport, and it's been 2 years since I've owned this vehicle. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get out to the exterior and let's talk about the imperfections, the overall, way that it looks since I've owned it for 2 years. Now, I bought this vehicle back in 2022 in July, and so with that being said, 16,000 miles on the odometer. Let's talk about how it's fared out. Now, paint wise, this is the urban gray pearl that we see here with this vehicle. It's not the sonic gray pearl that we see in the Civic and the Accord. This is actually a different color, and that's primarily due to the fact that this vehicle is built in Mexico compared to like the Civic, where they're built, since they're built also in Canada, and I think one of them is built in Alabama if I'm not mistaken. But nonetheless, the paint has fared off really well. One thing that a lot of people have complained about when it came to the sonic gray pearl was that there was a lot of issues or imperfections with the paint. With this one, luckily there hasn't been a lot of imperfections. There is paint chips, 16,000 miles driving through the highway. This is a construction state, so we have some areas right here, some rock chips in the front bumper. We also have it on the hood section around here and here as well, so that's a normal thing. As for the black plastic cladding that we have over here in the front grille area as well as the lower part of the grille, they're not fading whatsoever. They still look brand new from the factory, so that's a great thing. On the side though, since there is a lot of turbulence with rain and so on and so forth, you do have a little bit of the fading around here. I just got this clean actually recently, but of course it's been raining, as you can hear the thunder in the background. But there is a little bit of fading, which is quite normal. Rims have done fantastic. These are the 18-inch rims that come standard with the sport trim. The other trims actually only come with 17-inch, but surprisingly these come with the 18-inch. I haven't had to change my tires whatsoever. They're fared off really good. I actually did a tire rotation recently, so we'll talk more about that when we get into the interior. At the back, no issues whatsoever, no blemishes to the rear tailgate area. The black plastic cladding, again, no fading, even though there is a lot of turbulence that comes underneath the car when it's raining. No fading whatsoever. Still, I find it hilarious how the sport trim, it comes with the flat black over here, but Honda couldn't have added the flat black for the Honda logo and the HR-V logo. I still don't understand. You have to pay extra actually to go ahead and get the flat black. You still have that single exhaust over there for the sport trim, which is unique. I did get a windshield wiper blade aftermarket from a Advanced Auto Parts, so I'll talk about the pricing on that when we get into the interior. Overall, not so bad at all in the rear. Opening up the tailgate, same thing. I still hate this, and I hate the fact that this cost $167 when it's just like a recyclable flimsy kind of material. Don't understand it whatsoever. But also, I'm going to touch on the rear glass issue that the 2023s have, as well as the 2024s. I'm going to speak about that. They did do a recall on that recently. Finally, Honda's actually listening to what's going on. Over here, I did get a little scuffing. I had my car parked at a Target. When I came out, I saw this big black line that somebody go ahead and paint rub from another car. I can easily remove this with some detailing and so on and so forth. As for the rear area, nobody sits back here, so whatsoever, this area right here is perfectly fine, no issues at all. The roof wise, since that's the area where the most sun hits, there is some blemishes overall. I did clean it. I tried to figure out some cleaning materials to get it fixed, but there is some blemishes all in all. Mirror caps on that side, I still have the streaks from when the person was cleaning the vehicle. Unfortunately, that's just a thing that happens. Somebody who details a vehicle would understand that you should never ever use a microfiber to clean gloss black stuff at all. Interior wise, everything has been great. The steering wheel, the wear and tear of it is not bad at all. I usually put my hand around here on the 9 and 3 grip, or I drive right here, but no wear and tear whatsoever around the 9 and 3 grip whatsoever. Steering wheel is really good. I still love this steering wheel. I love the orange accents that we saw for the sport trim, which is actually unique to the sport trim. You can't get it in the base trim or the top trim, which is really good to see. This gloss black though, I've tried cleaning it so many times, but it just comes out dirty no matter how much you clean it. You know, it's just one of those things where I just don't think that gloss black should be around the steering wheel area. You know, your hands are usually always over here, you know, you're touching certain things over here on the little buttons on the sections over here. So yeah, and same thing for here. The shifter area right here should not be gloss black. As you can see, there's some streaks from when I got it detailed. It's one of those things where it sucks. You know, somebody who details a car, I like cleaning cars and so on and so forth, and I know that not to use any kind of materials to make this, you know, streak like that. I still do love this little center console area where you have like a pass-through under here. It's actually done really good. I've been able to put sometimes my phone whenever I have, like, for example, you see how my phone right now, I have it in this little phone holder. And that's one thing I'm gonna mention really quick, is since we have this honeycomb design, we can't really put a area to like have our phone. So I actually have to use one of the cup holder sections to, you know, put my phone. So, you know, it's not, I don't have a wireless charging tray. You can't get a wireless charging tray when it came to 2023. I believe in the 2024 you can actually option it in now, finally. If I'm not mistaken, I'll put that in the description or somewhere in the video if you can or cannot. But nonetheless, pretty good. You know, this is like a vinyl style finish over here, so the wear and tear hasn't been at all horrible for the vinyl section right here as well on the dash, the soft synthetic touch that we have here. So no issues whatsoever. My primary issues that I have with this vehicle in the interior wise is I keep having this sound coming on from over here when you're under hard acceleration. For example, if you're getting onto the highway and you floor it, it sounds like you have a straight pipe exhaust. It sounds like you don't even, you know, have a catalytic converter or anything like that. It's just a complete straight pipe. It's such a loud vibration that every single time I'm on the phone using Apple CarPlay, everybody hears it and they all complain about it. Everybody's told me, oh, you know, it sounds horrible. What is that sound? Why does it keep making that? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I even spoke to the dealership. They said that it's a normal thing, and the reason as to why is that there's no insulation underneath the hood over there in that firewall section where the exhaust goes underneath the car. So it's an unfortunate thing that you kind of have to live with this vehicle. But you know, that's one thing that I hope that for the facelift they add more insulation in that section, so there isn't that loud vibration, you know, droning from the exhaust coming from this section. And mind you, I have, you know, the glove compartment, I don't have a lot of things in here, so it doesn't warrant the fact for it to be vibrating that much. One thing I complained about with my last video that I did when I did my 1 year update on this vehicle was the safety tech. Now, I had to replace my front windshield, and whenever there is a front windshield, mind you, I do everything OEM. I don't like, you know, especially when it comes to like glass or anything like that, I don't like doing aftermarket. If you do OEM for the glass, then you're gonna be fine for your safety tech. If you do aftermarket, there's a lot of things that goes into a windshield that will corrupt your safety sense. So that means the forward collision warning, you know, the take your hand off the steering wheel, that cruise control, and so on and so forth. That's kind of gonna be eliminated if you go for an aftermarket window. Now, like I said, I had Honda Tech that came out and they completely, you know, recalibrated everything. You know, getting off the lane departure warning and so on and so forth would not come on, and the, you know, steering wheel won't vibrate. I then had another issue with my windshield where I got a crack when I was on the highway. Luckily, I changed insurance and I was able to make another claim, and I was able to get the windshield replaced for free. And so when that happened, they did a recalibration. Again, the lane departure warning does not work correctly. It doesn't let me know if I'm going over the lanes whatsoever. I actually have to figure that out myself. And you know, the way that you can go ahead and fix that, or like at least not fix it, but you could see that you have all your systems on, is that you see the road departure mitigation, your blind spot information, and the collision mitigation. As you see, everything is turned on from there. That's the only way you can actually, you know, look at your settings to make sure that it is on. It's just something that I think Honda needs to improve with their safety systems, that if it does get recalibrated, it needs to be done correctly. And mind you, this is a certified Honda, you know, tech that comes out and does the recalibration. That should not be happening. I'm sorry. I understand it's a replace of the window and everything like that, but stuff like that, like a safety feature, should not have to be, you know, eliminated, as in like, you know, it doesn't work anymore. I think it should work. But other than that, you know, it's fared off very well in the interior. Haven't had any issues. The climate control is fantastic. As you see, I have the single zone climate control in this vehicle, since this is the top trim where you have the dual zone. Yeah, really good interior, still good. The only the gripes that I have is just this droning sound that I have, and in the safety situation that I have as well. Let's go ahead and talk about the maintenance. As I was gonna tell you, this vehicle, when I purchased it, Honda has this thing where it's 2 years, 24,000 mile for your free service. Now, in order to get that free service, you have to hit 15% on your maintenance requirement over here. So when you go to maintenance, you can see, as you see right now, it's 100%. So just to let you know, I did recently just change that. Now, here's the thing. When it was already coming to the 2 years of me owning the vehicle, what happened was that it was stuck at 30% for a whole month. Then after, you know, me owning the vehicle for a full-on 2 years, and that service is no longer available for my vehicle, it then hit 20% within the same week that you know, I've had it for 2 years, and then it hit 15% in 4 days. How does that make any sense? Clearly there must have been like a system where they knew that the car was gonna hit like 2 years, and you know, it did that. It stayed until 30%. It's wild to me, honestly. It is very wild to me that that happened. But nonetheless, let me go ahead and show you all the details that I did. So I did a full-on oil change. I did a tire rotation. I also did a wheel alignment, because for some reason the car just didn't, like, I don't drive crazy. I don't go over speed bumps really hard. I don't hit the, you know, the barrier for when you're parking in a parking spot. None of that. I don't like doing that, because I know how it fares off at the end of the day, and I don't want to have to pay the price. So let's go ahead and talk about this. So oil change came out to $34.79. The parts for the oil, you have your OW20, you have your washer / drain. Your filter oil came out to a total parts of $43.97. Tire rotation, $39.95. The wheel alignment came out to $89.99. Shop parts, $31.31. Labor for the tech, $164.73. The total taxes, $13.32, and a grand total of $418.06. So that's how the maintenance cost would be like if you were to do the tire rotation, if you were to do your, you know, your alignment as well. Now, mind you, that doesn't equate to every single dealership. Depending on the dealership that you two take your vehicle, it's going to be different. You know, it's not going to always be the same price. You know, some dealerships charge you more, some dealerships charge you less. But if you were to even remove that, you know, the wheel alignment, you would actually be somewhere around the $300 park. So after that 2 years, 24,000 mile free maintenance that we get in this vehicle, that's what your average price would be. That's actually not too bad for a vehicle like this. You know, it could be worse. It could be like a BMW where, oof, if you were to do all that, you probably would be paying close to $900 to $1,000, depending on what they want to charge you. You know, BMW dealerships are a little bit more expensive because of the fact that, you know, they are a luxury slash sporty brand. Honda wise, you're not gonna have that issue, and like that oil, as you saw, that was synthetic oil, so that's not the premium oil that you would find in a BMW. Ride control for this vehicle, now there is one thing I've noticed, and I did talk to the service advisor about this. He did talk to his tech about it. Whenever I'm going over a speed bump, there is this loud sound that comes out from the right side of the wheel well area, like the suspension. I asked them if it had something to do with the suspension itself. They overlooked everything, they tightened everything, nothing was wrong with it. After driving it home, I went over some speed bumps and so on and so forth, and unfortunately it still occurs. The service advisor told me to keep him posted what's going on with that. I don't know if that has something to do with my the alignment in the vehicle. It fared off. It got worse over time. I don't think it would. I don't know exactly what caused the whole entire issue with the alignment for this vehicle and how it fared off worse with me driving, you know, safe and everything like that, not going over speed bumps too hard and so forth. I don't know. I'm not quite sure, but nonetheless, I mean, it's something that I've noticed. I'm gonna go over here and I'm actually gonna turn it around, and I'm gonna actually show you exactly how it sounds out the front when you full throttle this vehicle. But like I said, suspension wise, this car feels very comfortable in the interior. It's not horrible. It's not horrible whatsoever. It's a great car, and it's a great beginner car for those who are learning how to drive, or their parents want to buy them a car. It's really good. And you know, even older folks, I will say, for older folks, if you are looking for a car that has you know, lumbar control and so on and so forth, unfortunately, no matter what trim you get in this vehicle, you do not have lumbar control. In fact, the only vehicles in Honda's lineup that has lumbar control is the Accord, the Prologue, the Ridgeline, the Odyssey, and then the Passport. That's the only vehicles that have it. The Civic, HRV, CRV currently do not have it. So I'm gonna go ahead and full throttle it over here. I don't know if you picked it up in the video, but as you heard, there was a loud sound coming from this section, and I just don't get it. I don't know why it's so, you know, vocal. It's like there's no insulation. I think Honda should have at least added insulation. I mean, they've done multiple tests, and I mean multiple tests with this vehicle in order for it to come out to you know, it is a very vocal sound. I really don't like it. It does bother me quite a lot. And especially, like, for example, if you were going on a road trip, or if you know, you have kids or something like that, just think about it for a second. Somebody sleeping here, and you have to like full throttle it into getting into like a what's it called, the turnpike or the freeway. It's going to be super loud, and they're probably going to wake up from that because, you know, it's just loud. But power delivery, pretty good. It's only 158 horsepower. It's not very torquey either. I will say Honda needs to add the hybrid in this vehicle for the facelift. And the reason why I say that is because the HRV is sold in both Europe It's sold in China, and it's sold in Asia as well. And all of those places have the new hybrid system, the 2-liter with the hybrid electric motor at the rear. Mind you, it's not all-wheel drive. Well, it is all-wheel drive over there. It's not all-wheel drive for the Civic, but they need to add it in here because the fuel economy for this vehicle hasn't fared off that well. I average around 21 to 23 miles per gallon for this vehicle. Now that's with city driving. I don't drive on the highway whatsoever. The only time I ever do it is whenever I'm going to dealerships to go ahead and film a vehicle like the Doral Acura or South Day Toyota, where I go filming. But it's not the greatest. I did do a road trip to Orlando when I went to the Electrify America, and I actually tested out to see how the fuel economy was when I did that road trip, and surprisingly I did really do a good time. I did about 35 miles per gallon, which is actually a little bit more than the EPA rating, but city-wise this car isn't like the greatest. I fill up this car roughly around a week and 2 days or so, almost like a a week, depending on how I drive. Mind you, I don't put it into the sport transmission. I drive it normal, kind of like this. The only time I ever did a full throttle was like that, and whenever I'm getting up to speed on the highway so I can merge onto it. But other than that, I mean, the car has fared off really well. Even though I'm more of a sporty kind of person who likes sporty vehicles or a little bit more power, I think this is a really good car for somebody who is starting out to drive a vehicle and they want something that's a little bit higher up off the ground. They don't want a sedan. You know, one thing about living over here in South Florida is we get a lot of rain showers, especially during any kind of season, whether it be the fall time, the springtime, the winter, summer. Especially right now with hurricane season, it's not fared off really well, and we've had a ton, and I mean a ton of rainfall with that, and of course the flooding and everything. So vehicles like this actually fare off better, and so I would totally recommend something like an SUV. This car, even though it's minor gripes that I have, I feel like the average consumer that would buy a vehicle like this wouldn't really care so much for something like that. Like they won't complain about it. It's a car. It takes you from point A to point B, and I'm very fortunate to have this vehicle. I know that there is a lot of people out there who don't have the availability or the resources to purchase a vehicle like this. It's just minor things that I have, and I think that it's fair enough to say things like that when I've owned it for 2 years. For me, this might be the last time you guys see my vehicle on the channel, as I currently I'm probably looking to get something a little bit better, more higher up, more off-roady, like I like the looks of this car. I think that Honda really did a good job. I just think that I'm kind of done with the unibody structure of vehicles. I think it's time to go for something more body on frame. I think it's going to be very close to what I can imagine it's going to be like. I don't know. I want something body on frame. I want something off-road like. I want something that looks really, really good and performs well and has a hybrid system. A hybrid system is something that I really want. I don't want to go full electric yet, but I do want something with a hybrid. I do want something with a turbocharge. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe onto the channel, and I'll be continuing to pump out more and more reviews of other cars fairly soon. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.